Discovery and infiltration. Commander Eliza Chen squinted at the holographic display, her coffee forgotten as the satellite images rendered in crisp detail before her eyes. The Martian surface, typically a monotonous landscape of rust-colored dust and ancient craters, now revealed something impossible, something that shouldn't exist. "Tell me I'm hallucinating, Dmitri," she said, voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Dmitri Volkov leaned forward, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the projection. The Russian geophysicist had survived 3 Martian winters at Olympus Base, but she'd never seen him speechless before. "If you are hallucinating, Commander, then we are sharing the same dream." His accent thickened as he zoomed in on the anomaly. "These structures, they are not natural formations, and they are certainly not ours." The satellite had captured what appeared to be a vast complex of domes and spires rising from the Acidalia Planitia region, an area previously documented as barren desert. The structures shimmered with an otherworldly turquoise luminescence, partially camouflaged by some kind of advanced technology that bent light around its perimeter. Lieutenant Marcus Wade, their communications specialist, burst into the command center, waving his tablet. "Commander, you need to see this. We're picking up transmissions from the site, encoded signals unlike anything in our databases." The 3 of them stood in stunned silence, confronting what humanity had speculated about for centuries. Definitive proof that we were not alone. "How the hell did we miss this?" Chen muttered, calculating the size of the complex. "This isn't some outpost. This is a city. A megacity. Adaptive camouflage," suggested Dr. Samira Karim, their xenobiologist, who had joined them silently. "The satellite only captured it because of that new quantum imaging system we installed last month. Regular scans would show nothing but desert." Chen turned to face her team, reality sinking in. "We need to be absolutely certain before we report this to Earth. I want confirmation on the ground." Wade shook his head. "With all due respect, Commander, protocol dictates immediate." Protocol didn't anticipate finding an alien metropolis on our planetary doorstep. "Lieutenant," Chen interrupted, "if this gets out before we understand what we're dealing with, we'll have mass panic, religious upheaval, economic collapse, or worse, some trigger-happy general launching a preemptive strike." "You're proposing we investigate ourselves?" Karim asked, eyes widening. Chen nodded. "A small team. 4 of us. Low profile, minimal equipment. We scout the perimeter, gather hard evidence, and determine if there's any immediate threat." Volkov stroked his salt and pepper beard. "The Odyssey rover has stealth capabilities. If we time our approach with the dust storm forecasted for tomorrow, we might avoid detection." "What if they're hostile?" Wade questioned, his military training evident in his posture. Chen met his gaze steadily. "What if they're not? What if this is the greatest opportunity for advancement humanity has ever encountered?" 48 hours later, Chen guided the Odyssey rover over a ridge of copper-colored dunes. Beside her, Karim monitored the atmospheric sensors while Wade and Volkov checked their equipment. Each wore a pressurized expedition suit with limited combat capabilities, a compromise between scientific needs and security concerns. As they crested the final dune, the hidden city emerged before them. From orbit, it had been impressive. From the ground, it was breathtaking. Massive crystalline domes shimmered in the weak Martian sunlight, connected by delicate bridges that defied conventional engineering principles. Spires of unknown material twisted skyward, their surfaces pulsing with intricate patterns of light. Hovering craft moved silently between the structures, carrying cargo or perhaps passengers. "My God," breathed Karim. "This is beyond anything we theorized. The energy requirements alone would be astronomical." "I'm detecting electromagnetic fields consistent with some kind of barrier," Volkov reported, consulting his instruments. "Similar to our shield technology, but orders of magnitude more sophisticated." Wade adjusted his scanner. "I'm picking up multiple biosignatures, varied patterns, Definitely not all the same species. Chen felt a chill run through her. A multi-species settlement. On Mars. Right under our noses. Look there. Karim pointed toward the nearest dome. Those shapes, they look like environmental support systems, similar to what we use at Olympus Base, but integrated directly into the architecture. Commander, Wade's voice dropped to a whisper. I'm detecting human biosignatures among them. The silence that followed was deafening. That's not possible, Chen finally said. We're the only humans on Mars, Olympus Base, and Valles Marineris Station. That's it. The data doesn't lie, Wade insisted. There are humans in that city, at least several dozen. Chen's mind raced. The first colony ships had arrived on Mars only 15 years ago. The combined population of both bases was less than 200. There was no way an operation of this scale could have been hidden from Earth or the established Martian colonies, unless someone had been keeping secrets. We need to get closer, she decided. Find an entry point, see who's running this operation, and why they'd gone to such lengths to keep it hidden. They guided the rover toward what appeared to be a maintenance access point on the city's eastern perimeter, using a ridge of natural rock formations for cover. As they approached, the scale became even more apparent. The central dome alone must have been several kilometers in diameter. Volkov studied the readouts from their ground-penetrating radar. The infrastructure extends deep below the surface, at least half a kilometer, and there are tunnels branching out for many kilometers beyond the visible structures. How could this have been built without anyone noticing? Karim wondered aloud. The resources required, the personnel, the technology. That's what we're here to find out, Chen replied, bringing the rover to a halt in the shadow of a massive boulder. Suit up, full stealth protocols. We go in, we observe, we document, and we get out. No engagement unless absolutely necessary. They secured the rover and activated their suit's camouflage systems, advanced metamaterials that bent light around their forms, rendering them nearly invisible when stationary. The technology was imperfect. Rapid movement created distortions that could be detected by sophisticated sensors, but it was their best option. As they approached the perimeter, Wade detected a pattern in the barrier's energy fluctuations. There's a maintenance cycle. The field weakens for 3.7 seconds every 92 minutes to allow waste energy to dissipate. Can we use that window to slip through? Chen asked. If we time it perfectly, he confirmed. Next opportunity, in 18 minutes. They waited, tension building as they observed the city through high-powered optics. Occasionally, sleek vessels would emerge from or disappear into the central dome, their propulsion systems eerily silent. When the moment came, they sprinted through the momentarily weakened barrier, feeling a static tingle as they passed through the energy field. Inside, the air was noticeably different, still thin by Earth standards, but breathable without assistance. Karim quickly collected samples while the others secured their position between what appeared to be external storage units. The atmosphere's been terraformed, Karim whispered, localized to the city's boundaries. Oxygen levels at 17%, nitrogen 78%, trace gases comprising the remainder. Almost Earth-like, Volkov noted. Look at this, Wade called softly, examining markings on the nearest structure. These symbols, some of them match known Earth corporate logos, but they're integrated with alien scripts. Chen studied the hybrid symbology. Dread pooling in her stomach. Corporate involvement. That would explain the secrecy, the resources. Corporations working with alien species. To what end? Karim questioned. They moved deeper into the complex, staying in the shadows, documenting everything with their suit cameras. The architecture blended alien aesthetics with recognizable human engineering principles, creating a hybrid environment that felt both foreign and strangely familiar. In what appeared to be a loading zone, they observed their first inhabitants, tall, slender beings with iridescent skin moving cargo alongside humans in uniforms bearing unfamiliar insignia. The aliens communicated through subtle gestures, and what sounded like musical tones, while the humans responded in a language that sounded like a blend of Mandarin, Russian, and English. A trade language, Wade suggested, developed for interspecies communication. They continued their reconnaissance, eventually reaching an observation platform overlooking an enormous central plaza. Below them, thousands of beings, humans, and at least 5 distinct alien species, moved about their daily activities. Holographic displays hovered at intersections, showing what appeared to be schedules, maps, and announcements. This isn't some research station or outpost, Chen realized. This is a functioning society. Volkov pointed to a massive structure dominating the far side of the plaza. That appears to be their central administrative building. If we want answers, that's where we'll find them. Navigating through the city required patience and caution. Despite their stealth systems, they had several close calls with security drones that patrolled the corridors. The technology on display was centuries beyond Earth's most advanced systems: quantum computing interfaces, gravitational manipulation devices, and energy systems that seemed to defy the laws of physics as they understood them. They finally reached the central building, slipping inside during a shift change. The interior was a marvel of engineering, an open atrium that spiraled upward for hundreds of meters, with transparent platforms floating unsupported at various levels. Wade hacked into a data terminal, his augmented neural interface working furiously to decode the alien encryption. "I'm in," he announced after several tense minutes, "downloading whatever I can access." "We need to know who's behind this," Chen urged. "Find personnel records, communication logs, anything that might tell us who's running the show." "Got something," Wade replied. "Financial records. Christ. The investment in this place is estimated at 2 trillion credits. Major Earth corporations are listed as stakeholders alongside entities with designations I don't recognize, probably alien corporate equivalents." 2 trillion, Volkov repeated incredulously. "That's more than the GDP of most Earth nations." "Keep looking," Chen instructed. "We need names, organizations. Why there?" "Intruders detected in Sector 7G," announced a melodious voice from overhead speakers, switching between multiple languages. "Security protocols initiated." "We've been made," Wade hissed, disconnecting from the terminal. "Got what I could, but it's not complete." "Move," Chen ordered, leading them toward a service corridor they'd identified earlier. "Back to the perimeter. Now." They fled through the winding passageways as alarm systems pulsed with rhythmic light patterns. Security drones converged from multiple directions, forcing them to split up temporarily to evade capture. As Chen rounded a corner, she collided with a human wearing an executive uniform. Both stumbled back in surprise, the man's eyes widening as Chen's camouflage system briefly glitched from the impact. "You," he gasped, reaching for a communication device. "You're from Olympus Base." Chen reacted instantly, disabling him with a precise strike before he could raise the alarm. Dragging him into an alcove, she demanded, "Who are you? What is this place?" The man smiled thinly, blood trickling from his lip. "The future, Commander Chen. A future your superiors don't want you to know about." Chen felt a chill. "You know who I am. We know everything about your little base. We've been watching you just as much as you've been failing to see us." He laughed softly. "Did you really think humanity would be allowed to expand into space without supervision?" "Allowed? By whom?" "The Consortium. 12 species, 17 star systems, centuries of cooperation. Earth is simply the newest investment opportunity. And these corporations, they're collaborating. They're thriving. Exclusive access to technology centuries beyond what's available on Earth, in exchange for resources, secrecy, and compliance." Chen's comm unit crackled. "Commander, we're surrounded." Wade's voice was urgent. "Security forces closing in from all sides." "This conversation is over," the man smirked. "Enjoy being processed. The Consortium is always looking for new talent. willing or otherwise. Chen knocked him unconscious with a final blow, then rejoined her team, narrowly evading capture as they fought their way back toward the perimeter. Security forces were closing in, both alien guards and human security personnel wielding weapons far beyond Earth military standards. The barrier, Volkov shouted, pointing to the perimeter wall. Next fluctuation in 40 seconds. They sprinted toward the perimeter, dodging energy blasts that scorched the ground around them. Wade took a glancing hit to his leg, stumbling before Chen and Karim pulled him forward. Almost there, Karim encouraged as they reached the invisible barrier. 30 seconds, Volkov counted down, as security forces closed in from all sides. They're going to seal the weakness, Wade realized, watching technicians scrambling at a nearby control panel. We need a distraction, Chen decided, pulling an emergency flare from her belt. She activated it and hurled it in the opposite direction. The magnesium burn blinded sensors and guards alike, buying them precious seconds. Now, Volkov shouted as the barrier fluctuated. They burst through the energy field, feeling the static wash over them as they tumbled onto the red Martian soil beyond. Behind them, alarms continued to blare, but the security forces halted at the perimeter, apparently unwilling to pursue them beyond the city's boundaries. Gasping for breath in the thin Martian atmosphere, they activated their suit systems and raced toward the hidden rover. Within minutes, they were speeding away from the Megacity, its shimmering domes receding behind them. Did you get the data? Chen asked Wade once they were safely out of range. He nodded grimly. Enough to prove what we saw. Corporate conspiracies, alien technologies, off-the-books deals worth trillions. This will shake the foundations of every major government on Earth. If we make it back to tell anyone, Karim added solemnly. Chen stared grimly at the Martian horizon. Oh, we're telling everyone. Whatever game these corporations are playing with our alien neighbors, humanity deserves to know the truth. As the rover sped across the dusty plains, the secret city shimmered once more, its camouflage systems reactivating to hide it from conventional detection. But now that they knew what to look for, the truth could no longer remain buried in the red Martian sand. Revelation and confrontation. 3 days after their escape from the alien Megacity, Commander Chen and her team huddled in Olympus Base's secure communications room, the air thick with tension. The data they'd retrieved painted a disturbing picture, one that implicated some of Earth's most powerful corporations in a massive conspiracy spanning decades. This goes beyond corporate espionage or illegal mining rights, Wade explained, displaying holographic evidence extracted from the city's databases. These companies haven't just been making deals with alien civilizations. They've been deliberately suppressing technological advancement on Earth to maintain their control. The evidence was damning. Fusion energy, gravity manipulation, advanced medical technologies, all had been developed and implemented on Mars, while inferior versions were strategically delayed or buried on Earth. The profit margins are astronomical, Volkov noted, examining the financial projections. By controlling the flow of alien technology to Earth markets, these corporations have positioned themselves as future gatekeepers. When they finally discover these technologies, they'll own all the patents, all the distribution channels. Chen paced the small room. And the aliens? What do they get from this arrangement? Karim gestured to another section of data. Resources, primarily. Rare earth elements, water from our oceans, biological samples. But there's something else. She highlighted a document labeled Territorial Concession Agreement. It appears they've been granted certain rights to establish settlements on Earth, in remote locations, underwater, even in orbit, all without any governmental oversight or public knowledge. We're being colonized, Chen realized. Slowly, methodically, with the cooperation of our own corporate elite. The Megacity isn't just a trading post, Wade added. It's a staging area. The first of many planned settlements throughout the solar system. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't being invited to join a galactic community. It was being quietly assimilated. We need to take this public, Chen decided. Transmit everything to multiple media outlets, government agencies, independent watchdogs, anyone who might listen. They'll try to discredit us, Volkov warned. Call it a hoax, mass hallucination, computer-generated imagery. Which is why we're going back, Chen announced, drawing surprised looks from her team. With better equipment, we'll capture irrefutable proof, and if possible, bring back physical evidence of alien technology. They'll be expecting us, Wade cautioned. Security will be significantly enhanced after our intrusion. Probably, Chen agreed, but not at the coordinates I'm thinking of. She pulled up their ground-penetrating radar scans. These tunnel systems extend well beyond the city proper. One of them leads to what appears to be a secondary facility here, 20 kilometers east. Much smaller footprint, minimal security presence. Karim studied the scan. A research outpost, perhaps, or resource processing center. Either way, it's our best shot at getting the evidence we need without walking into a fortress, Chen said. We leave at dawn. The journey to the secondary facility was tense but uneventful. Using natural terrain features for cover, they approached what appeared to be a cluster of modest domes connected to the main city by underground transit tubes. Minimal surface security, Wade confirmed through his scanner. 2 patrol drones, predictable patterns. Human biosignatures inside, much fewer than the main complex. Maybe 20 individuals. What are they doing out here? Volkov wondered, surveying the isolated outpost. They soon had their answer. Creeping to an observation port, they witnessed what appeared to be a test chamber. Inside, human scientists in specialized suits worked alongside alien technicians. At the center of the chamber stood a device unlike anything they'd ever seen. A swirling vortex of energy contained within a ring of unidentifiable material. Some kind of portal technology, Karim whispered, recording everything. They're creating stable wormholes. As they watched, the portal stabilized, its center clearing to reveal what appeared to be a landscape not of Mars or Earth, an alien world with purple vegetation and twin suns visible in amber sky. That's not just interplanetary transit, Chen realized. That's interstellar. This changes everything, Volkov breathed. With this technology, they could move entire armies, resources, colonists, anywhere in the galaxy, instantaneously. They continued observing as crates were moved through the portal, presumably containing Martian or Earth resources bound for alien worlds. The exchange was clearly routine for the workers. This was no prototype, but an operational technology. We need a sample of that portal material, Chen decided. Something concrete that Earth scientists can analyze, that can't be dismissed as digital manipulation. Commander, that's beyond risky, Wade protested. We barely escaped last time with just data. I'm aware of the risks, Lieutenant, but data can be disputed. Physical evidence cannot. They formulated a plan, waiting until the facility's work cycle ended and most personnel had departed through the underground transit tube back to the main city. Only a skeleton crew remained, 3 humans, and 2 aliens monitoring the now dormant portal. Using the same barrier fluctuation vulnerability they'd exploited before, they infiltrated the facility during shift change, while Wade and Volkov created a distraction by tampering with an external power coupling. Chen and Karim slipped into the main chamber. The portal device sat silent, its energy field dormant. Chen approached it cautiously, extracting specialized cutting tools from her pack. Look at this craftsmanship, Karim marveled, examining the alien glyphs etched into the frame. These aren't just decorative. They're mathematical equations, the physics of wormhole creation, encoded directly into the device. Chen carefully removed a small fragment from a non-essential support strut, a piece roughly the size of her thumb, composed of an iridescent material that seemed to shift colors as it moved. Got it, she whispered, securing the sample in a containment unit. Let's. An alarm blared suddenly, red lights pulsing throughout the facility. "Unauthorized extraction detected," announced an automated voice. "Security protocols engage. Facility lockdown initiated." "Move," Chen shouted, abandoning stealth for speed. They sprinted for the exit as sealed doors began closing throughout the complex. Outside, they found Wade and Volkov already engaged in a firefight with security drones. The distraction worked too well. Wade called, firing an electromagnetic pulse that disabled one of the hovering sentries. They raced for their rover, pursued by more security forces emerging from the transit tube connecting to the main city. Energy weapons scorched the ground around them, the air filling with the acrid smell of superheated Martian soil. "They're cutting us off from Olympus base," Volkov warned, pointing to aerial drones moving to intercept their likely escape route. "Then we don't go back to base, not directly," Chen decided, sharply changing course. "We head for the emergency backup station in Marineris Canyon. From there, we can transmit everything to Earth before they find us." The rover's engines strained as they pushed it to maximum speed, weaving through rocky terrain to evade their pursuers. Behind them, larger transport vehicles had emerged from the Megacity, carrying what appeared to be specialized retrieval teams. "Commander," Karim said urgently, "the portal sample. It's doing something." Chen glanced at the containment unit. The small fragment was pulsing with increasing intensity, emitting a high-pitched frequency that penetrated even the rover's shielding. "It's a tracker," Wade realized. "That's how they found us so quickly. The sample itself is broadcasting our location." "Dump it," Volkov urged. "No," Chen refused. "This is our only physical evidence. We need it." She thought quickly. "Wade, can you jam the signal?" "Temporarily, maybe, but it's using quantum entanglement, not standard radio frequencies." "Do what you can. We just need enough time to reach the transmitter." The chase continued across the Martian landscape, a deadly game of cat and mouse as they used natural features to break pursuit lines, and Wade worked frantically to disrupt the sample's signal. The emergency station was still 2 hours away, an eternity with their pursuers closing in. "We're not going to make it," Karim said finally, watching multiple contacts converging on their position from different directions. "They're hurting us." Chen made a difficult decision. "New plan. We split up. I take the sample and the core data. The rest of you create diversions, then make your way to Olympus base. If I don't make it, at least some of this information will survive." "Commander, protocol," Wade began, "is less important than the truth," Chen finished firmly. "We've uncovered something that changes humanity's place in the cosmos. That truth has to reach Earth, whatever the cost." They reluctantly agreed, transferring essential data to multiple devices. At the next ridge, they parted ways, Volkov and Karim heading northwest toward a mining outpost with a secondary transmitter, Wade southwest to draw off pursuers, and Chen due east toward the emergency station with the crucial sample. Alone in a smaller emergency rover, Chen pushed through her exhaustion, navigating the treacherous canyon approaches as warnings flashed on her scanner. 2 pursuit craft had broken off to follow her, closing rapidly despite her evasive maneuvers. The emergency station appeared on the horizon, a small hardened bunker built into the canyon wall, designed to withstand Martian dust storms and provide emergency shelter and communications in case Olympus base was compromised. Chen reached the station barely minutes ahead of her pursuers, sealing the reinforced door behind her and activating the defense systems. Primitive by comparison to the alien technology, but enough to buy her precious time. She quickly powered up the communications array, preparing a data package containing everything they'd discovered. As the transmission began uploading to the quantum relay that would carry it to Earth, the building shook with the impact of energy weapons striking the outer walls. Structural integrity warnings flashed across the screens. Chen worked feverishly, adding a personal message to the transmission. "To whoever receives this, what you're about to see is evidence of the most significant conspiracy in human history. Mars is home to an alien megacity worth 2 trillion credits, built with the cooperation of Earth's largest corporations. This alliance threatens not just our economic systems, but potentially our sovereignty as a species. The enclosed data and analysis are authentic. The sample I've recovered proves the existence of technology far beyond our current capabilities. Humanity must decide its own fate, not have it decided in boardrooms, either on Earth or on Mars. Commander Eliza Chen, Olympus Base. The transmission completed just as the bunker's outer door began to glow red from sustained weapons fire. Chen knew she had minutes at most before they breached the facility. She activated the emergency beacon, a last resort distress signal that would alert Olympus Base to her situation, then turned to face the door, weapon ready. The portal sample pulsed in its containment unit, its glow intensifying as the door began to melt. Beyond it, she could hear the hiss of cutting tools and voices, both human and distinctly non-human. The door gave way with a screech of protesting metal. Chen raised her weapon, determined to protect the truth with her last breath if necessary. But instead of security forces, a single figure stood in the doorway. A tall, slender alien with iridescent skin, its features almost luminous in the dim light. Behind it, the pursuing security teams lay unconscious. "Commander Chen," the alien said in perfect English, its voice melodious and calm. "I am Salter, Cultural Oversight Director for the Consortium. We need to talk." Chen kept her weapon trained on the figure. "About what? How your people have been secretly colonizing our solar system, or how Earth corporations have betrayed their own species." Salter made a gesture that might have been the equivalent of a sad smile. "About misconceptions and incomplete information, about why secrecy was deemed necessary, and about what happens now that your transmission has reached Earth." "You're too late to stop it," Chen said defiantly. "I did not come to stop it," Salter replied, surprising her. "I came to complete it." The alien produced a crystalline data storage device. "Your information is accurate but incomplete. This contains the full historical record of Consortium interaction with Earth, dating back 3 centuries. It also contains the names of every human collaborator, every corporation involved, and every technology suppressed." Chen stared suspiciously. "Why would you give me this?"